Thanks for tuning into the No More, Do More podcast. We love having you here, and it's our mission to bring you all of the latest and greatest tips, skills, and know-how to make you the best that you can be. We know that you have it in you, and we're going to show you how. Now, let's get started.
Now we are ready. Welcome to the No More podcast. I'm your host, Kevin Kabingu, and this is the podcast where we bring you awesome people, amazing people who do awesome stuff, amazing stuff all around Africa. And this is an awesome one. I have someone I've known for so long, a very motivational person. And what I can say about this guy is he's really passionate about the stuff he does. He's really passionate about people, and it's something I really admire about him. I'm very happy, and kumpata ni ngumu. He's never around, and he'll say why he's never around. Welcome to the No More podcast, my friend Caleb Ndaka, and you'll tell us what you do.
Thank you, Kevin, for having me. It's a pleasure, it's a privilege for me to be on this podcast. Mm-hmm. Yes, my name is Caleb Ndaka, and I'm a co-founder of Kids Comp Camp. Kids Comp Camp is an initiative to help young learners in rural and low-income communities in Africa to catch up with the current digital-driven society. So the way we do that is we target communities where kids have little or no exposure to computers and begin with them from ground zero. What is a computer? How to use the internet, and now we are teaching them how to code.
Yes, as you've heard, he works with kids, and there's something else he didn't tell us. Caleb is an actor, a thespian. You might have seen his work as, what was he in Wakamba Forever?
Wakamba Forever.
Yeah. Who are you in the...
Motor. Yo, what brings you in?
He's a great actor. He's a very energetic actor. I don't know. You always You always play characters who have a lot of energy. Mostly guards. I don't know why. You're passionate about acting. You're passionate about teaching kids how to code. And when did this all begin?
It was a very random idea. In campus, I was part of this small fellowship called Innovator. And what used to happen once in a while, we would go out for weekend getaway. And so this one particular time, we were coming back to campus, and one of our friends was like, hey guys, see, all of us, we have laptop. All of us, we know how to use laptop. All of us, we have a bit of pocket money. That's the reason why we are coming back from a getaway. How about if we put our laptops at our back and do a road trip, look for kids in a rural village somewhere in Kenya and teach them how to use computers? And for me, that was like, doable. Let's do this. And that's how, Kids Comp Camp came to be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And there's a video I was watching of you talking about Kids Comp Camp, and there's a part you talk about how after high school, you stayed out of high school for 4 years.
Yes.
And why did you take such a long break before campus? And
yes.
What are the things you learned during that 4 years that helped you? Yeah.
One of my most profound seasons of life, looking back, it was that season where I was out of school for 4 years. So what happened is after Form 4, I missed getting it's called the Joint Admission Board by JAB. Yes, I missed getting points to get to JAB by, I think it was 1 or 2 points. And so I was like, what's going to happen next? And so now the plan B was let me get to some of these middle colleges, because I knew for sure my parents would not afford a private university or even parallel program. And so I tried year one, KMTC, Kenya Teachers College, Utali College. I went to like all recruitments from NYS to Kenya Police to Wildlife to KDF, and nothing happened. Year one, year two, year three, year four. Now in year four, I just got an opportunity to begin doing these certificate courses. Went to JKUAT, did a certificate. After that, I joined the diploma program. After that, I worked for like 2 years. Then I came back to JKUAT and did my degree. So that's how the journey was in a big nutshell.
And really summarizing that 4 years. But I'd like to know how. I remember when I finished high school.
Yes.
We still had that Kagap year.
Yeah.
And I remember how. At that point, usually, like, I can't borrow money from my parents. It's 4 years.
Yes.
What are you doing to survive? You're not getting any opportunities. What's happening during these 4 years?
So definitely, I was in the village for the 4 years, and life was tough. I remember the first time I burned charcoal just to get food on the table. I started a small business of making bricks for sale. I bought my first phone, Motorola, from selling bricks. I joined a local football club called Masi Sportif. I started organizing events in my village. I think I was like the first guy to bring K-Crew to my village.
Hey.
I was very famous. We organized, we used to do like, I think August holidays, just bring artists from Nairobi just to entertain young people in my village. And so that was what I can remember from those 4 years. But one thing for sure I will tell you is this thing called lack of hope. It's like life on its own. When you're in that phase of life, you work so hard during the day so that you can sleep and not wake up the following day because you have nothing to do the following day. And lo and behold, it's 6 a.m. and you wake up and you ask yourself, what do I do? And so, I mean, and for me, it was even more demeaning given that I think I had performed pretty well in high school, and trying to see I could have got all these opportunities, but simply because I did not have money to bribe through the system, I was just staying at home to extended period without knowing what was happening next. So those were the 4 years. I thank God that I was active wherever I was. So in the village, I think everyone knew me, and I was trying to make the most that I could get at that particular point.
So it's just persevering, pushing yourself, just not losing hope.
Not losing hope. But also, again, and I'll say this from the deep down of my heart, is having a relationship with God kept me over that season. Because, I knew that, yes, it was very clear that my parents did not have much to give to me to proceed to college, but yet I knew God had a good plan for my life. And so that was like the only thing I was holding on, even with every passing year, with no promises. I knew that one day, one time, things would open up. And 4 years later, in a small way, a door opened and a window opened, a door opened, and now
you got into it.
It got into it.
So you, what I understand from the 4 years is just trying everything.
Each and
everything that comes your way.
Yes.
So initially you didn't want to do anything with technology?
No. Yeah. Actually, my when I finished high school, my what I wanted to become, I want to become a medic. I want to become a doctor. Mm-hmm. So when I got a B+, I was like, okay, this maybe will not get me to become to pursue medicine in university. So plan B was, let me go to KMTC and do something related to that. But then I kept applying 3 years. It was not going through. So I was like, anything which comes by, be it business, be it tech, I'm going to jump on it. So by year 4, when I got this opportunity, I was like, whatever is coming ahead of me, nayo, with it. And that's how, by the way, how I came to fall to tech. And looking back again, I see just how God had this plan, which I didn't have at that particular point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're in campus.
Yes.
These friends come up with the idea. So when they tell you the idea, so at that moment, what came to your mind? Because I'm thinking they were just suggesting things. Were you the guy who went, okay, we can go to this place? And
so that idea I remember very well. We were coming back from Kitengela, and this friend of mine, Wilson Maloba, is the one who mentioned this. And I felt like, I come from the village. And given that I was out of school for 4 years, I was like, I know so many schools. I know so many kids who've never even seen a computer. And this would be like a treat. So that was my contribution to that conversation. Like, hey, guys, if you have enough guys, if you have laptops, I have a very strong connection with where I grew up and where I spent most of the time before coming to campus. So that's how we were able to join those two dots. So the first kids computer camp happened in a place called Masai Township Primary School. It's not really what you may call like interior. It's like 25 kilometers from Machakos town. There's electricity, the road is good. But lo and behold, to our shock, out of like the 30 kids that came to the first computer camp, only 3 had seen a computer. And that was the reason why we felt this is abnormal. This is just some glaring gap. Like 70 kilometers away from CBD, Nairobi CBD, you have a group of 30, what you call peri-urban school, and only 3 of them have seen a computer before. So we were like Sembuse, Turukana, Sembuse, like far-flagged areas. And that's why we felt like, we need to do something. Of course, we went back to that particular school for like 3 times that year in 2014. And the number kept growing. But something happened. Another part of the story is one of our friends is called JJ. JJ is one of our producers when we come to acting. But he's also very good in terms of just putting and telling stories in videos. He did a promo video for the program, and we put it online on YouTube. And within like a week, we had like 100 requests all across the country. People saying, hey, come to a village. So again, we were like, hey, guys, stop. We need to structure this into something which can maybe grow and scale.
So you had no plan. Your initial idea was just tuanze. Let's go out.
Yes. Yeah. So a very good friend of mine called Gashan. Gashan was like the girl with the detail. And so when we were doing our second camp, Gashan is like, Governor Mutua had just come to power with all these promises of heaven. And he had made a very awesome park called Machakos People's Park. So it was like, guys, the plan is to drive to Machakos People's Park. No, the plan is to drive to Masi, teach kids for a weekend, and then coming back, we're going to have a plot on a Sunday afternoon at Machakos People's Park. And guys sign up like...
So it's promising a hangout. There's a plot for the guys.
For the guys.
Come volunteer.
Welcome
na marketaje. Kuna plot. But fast.
Yeah, come volunteer. Kuna plot, Machakos People's Park plot, but fast. Come volunteer for like 2 days. And then when you're coming back, we're going to hang out on that. Yes.
So... you had no plan, you're getting requests.
Yes.
So what happened next?
So what happened next is we formed a Google form, and I told people like, nominate schools, whatever you have. And so when we were doing our third camp in December, we realized, there's a way these dots are joining. So step number 1, let's request people to nominate. Step number 2, when they nominate, let's call up these people and ask them who they are. Just do like
they volunteer themselves there.
Yes. Yeah. But also sort of start doing the screening part of it. What is their interest? Why do they want us to teach their kids? And that was like now how you begin forming a relationship with. Then we realized from that pool of around like 100 people, there were like 5 people we knew and who it was very clear they came from very needy places. And it was very clear that they were vested in their community.
So people had an emotional attachment.
Yes, a real one. So we made those people to become our community contacts. And so the plan was, as guys, we're going to recruit volunteers. Those volunteers are going to come with their laptops, and we're going to generate content and train them. But now you, as a community contact, your work is to mobilize the kids, and your work is to host us
Or when you come over.
when you come over to your village. And then the volunteers, they were paying for their fare.
oh, yeah, okay.
So
Yeah.
we didn't need any money
Yeah.
to roll out the program.
Yeah.
And so that's how we survived the first year.
And okay, that's I can see when people put their mind together, and, you can actually achieve a lot.
Yes.
And I'm seeing in these moments, these kids, there's the aspect they've never seen a computer.
Yes.
And how is it you guys are teaching the kids how to? In which order are you working? Is it boosting the kids' self-esteem so that they can learn how to code, or give them the tools to know how to code so that you can boost their self-esteem? Because I'm thinking most of these kids are feeling sisi hatuko kama watoto, for instance, watoto wa Nairobi. Yeah. So how are the kids?
So I mean, when you started doing what you call the baseline survey to establish a need, we were like, we feel our mission is to help kids who have not used a computer before. So when we do the surveys, out of every 10 kids, 7, this needs to be their first time to use a computer. So you get who we are trying to target to. But then when we started teaching them, we realized computer is just but a tool for us to connect with them. There was a bigger gap, so per se. And the bigger gap was like lack of confidence. The biggest gap was like just the motivation to learn on their own. But then when you place a computer, because they are so attracted to that, you also become their friend. And so now you form a relationship. And that's why we've always invested in our volunteers to tell them, hey, this is just a conversation starter. The most important thing is the time that you spend with that child around that computer. Try to show them these things have been created by a man, and them also, they can also be able to create some of this stuff. All this tech that we are seeing around is not witchcraft. It's stuff where anyone have put thought and action to it. And so that was like the big picture for us. Demystifying. How can we be able to take that cover off of these things are for the town people, or these things are for the adults? No, we were like, look at around, kids are like the best people to train because they are green, they are curious, they are fresh, and they can create so much more when given that opportunity to think and own up their learning process. So technically, that's the way we went in. Looking back right now, we've been able to segment the content into like 3 big things. The first module is what we call Get Started. And Get Started is just to build confidence of that child around a computer, to know that they can be around any device and they can use that device. The second segment is what you call Get Productive. So once they've known how to right click, once they've known how to switch on and off, how can they start creating small utilities, like do assignment on their own, use the internet to search for information, use the internet to communicate. So that's module number 2. And then module number 3 is Get Creative. We want not just to bring up a bunch of people who are just consuming technology, but people who are thinking about how on their own they can start creating stuff. So Get Started, Get Productive, and Get Creative. That's like how we are flowing with the training right now.
You figured out the after a while.
Yes.
And I like that idea of you using those volunteers, building that system, having like-minded individuals, finding. I like how you used JJ to make the video and getting.
And by the way, he did it for free.
Yeah,
he even gave us free transport. We drove in his car. That guy is awesome. Yeah. Shout out to JJ.
I wish the play was still around. Go and watch.
Go and watch. Next time we will come back.
We'll do that. Now, for someone who's listening, who's maybe is not doing the same thing you're doing, but it's something like that, a community outreach.
Yes.
At some point, you started getting sponsorships. You started getting people volunteer, not only like citizens who are volunteering, but also companies. Yes. How did you get to that point?
So let me first of all tell you that we've been slow to sell kids camp in terms of like actively pitching, but we've benefited greatly from referrals. You see, these people who come to volunteer with us, which by now 1,000 people have volunteered in our program. Those are the people who've gone back to their companies. Those are the people who've gone back to their parents and told them, like, we are coming from this camp and I think these guys are doing an awesome job. Would you be able to offer them one or two support? The biggest grant that we've got, I was just invited, I crashed in a meeting, and then the conversation that flipped, like, I think we're interested in you. And over time, those guys, they've been able to be our long-lasting partners. So when you give people an opportunity to have the real life experience, then they become your partners when they go back. And that's how we've been able to raise the resources that we have currently by people pointing us to their companies when they're doing their CSR and they're giving out machines, by people pointing us to funding opportunities like, hey, you guys, I think you're a good fit here. Please apply for this opportunity. And we've seen many more opportunities through referrals than us putting our face outside there.
Okay. Very interesting. So it's just be passionate about what you're doing.
Yeah.
Just put yourself out there. Take the risk. Don't make excuses like, oh, we don't have the funding right now.
Yeah.
Do the little you can, and other stuff will start flowing in.
There's something that I've been seeing over and over again among my friends is begin where you are. Do the best that you can do wherever you are. I've seen this trend of trying to postpone things that you can do today because you feel like tomorrow you're going to get more and you're going to do more. No, don't postpone your faithfulness. Be faithful with the little that you have. If it's friends you can mobilize to do something, bring them on board, and let that grow on its own.
Yeah, very, very interesting. And listeners, as you listen right now, Ndaka, at this point, you went international. So when did that start happening? Because now we started seeing you outside going for awards. When did that? Were you applying for awards? Or is it just still people referring you to?
People referring. I remember in 2014, a friend of mine, so IAB was doing what they call 100 community awards. And a friend, they asked out for nomination list, and a friend nominated, and I got through just like that. Then the following year, I got also a friend referred me to Ashoka and American Express. They were doing something called Imagine Innovators. Then I think a year after that, Microsoft was around doing another program called Insiders for Good. That's one I applied for. But by then, I was 3 years into the program, so I had at least stories to tell. And that led to Mandela Washington Fellowship and a few other fellowships in there, and recently the Obama Foundation Fellowship. So it's sort of one thing leading to the other, and you flowing with the flow from there. But it just began with that referral. Yes.
And from outside, what did you learn, or what was the reception of? Like when you go outside,
yes.
I see you doing talks.
Yes.
He has a TED talk. I don't know if it's out yet. Is it out yet?
No, not yet.
Okay, but
very soon.
We will share it on our platform when he shares it.
Yes.
But when you're talking to these people, what kind of response are you getting?
They say that experience is the best teacher. And one of the things that I always come back with when I travel is, why am I so shallow? When you meet deep people and you ask yourself, what am I doing? What have I been doing with my life? A case in point is we are not for profit. Our organization is not for profit. And with that, we have before heavily relied on grants and on fundraising. But then that is not very sustainable in the long run. So the conversion that we have right now is how can we initiate other initiative which can make a bit of some money and support our charity, so per se. And so I think for me that has been a big take home, trying to see other people, how they've been able to diversify without necessarily leaving their mission, and they've been able to survive. Of course, there's nothing new under the sun. Most of this stuff have been done elsewhere. Just a matter of you connecting with the people who've done that and learn. The way they say that life is too short for you to be original in everything. Some things just need to see, listen, and learn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Must deep things, eh? He's saying he's shallow. Coco, who are you meeting? If you're shallow, who are you meeting? These deep people. Yeah. And maybe from now that kids come, how old is it now?
It's now 4 years.
Yeah.
It's been 4 years.
4 years.
It seems like yesterday, but yes, it's been 4 years. Yeah. Going to 5 actually.
And
yes.
How many kids have?
Right now, we've been able to reach out to 10,000 kids in 10 counties here in Kenya and 1 county in Rwanda.
Oh, you went to Rwanda?
Yes, we went to Rwanda. Nice. Rwanda was awesome. Yes.
And are they? Because do you still keep in touch, especially like the kids who started in Masi? Are there any 6 years? Maybe are there some kids you've followed up to till now?
Yeah. So the thing is, one of the biggest things that we've learned is the power of continued relationship. And just to mention is we have grown beyond the kids. We have grown to our programs, which are now reaching to the parents, to the teachers, and to their older brothers and sisters. Because we realized our vision is to give local, rural community a 360 kind of transformation, right? And so over the 4 or 5 years, we have been growing not just in terms of number of kids that we're reaching to, but we have grown in terms of the support system we are creating around those kids. When we began, it was purely university students coming to volunteer with us. We have changed that to have a hybrid of we are recruiting from those communities, community trainers who include teachers, who include just young guys in those communities. And so they are now part of our force. They are now part of like agents of change in those communities. So we've kept very close relationships with community number 1, which we began in 2014, 2015 there.
Yeah, and is it you only teach coding, or is there anything else you've added to your curriculum?
Yeah, so again, like I mentioned, like one of the biggest gaps we realized is not our program. We don't want our program to be just about right clicking, left clicking, or writing 1 or 2 lines of code, but we want to connect with the real child. So apart from just like quote unquote the technical part, we have a session called let me spell for you. ART. What do you say
Art.
that? And craft. No, that is what we did. That is what we did in school. Us guys.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But then we realized these kids, they need something more. They need HEART.
Heart.
Yeah. So that session, it's a session whereby we put computers aside and now we connect with the child. We want to know who is that child beyond being a student. What do they aspire to be? What are some of the challenges that they've been able to achieve? And to that effect, I have a very recent testimonial. We met this wonderful girl, and so every camp we have things that we're giving out as appreciation, learning aid just to motivate the kids. And this girl was given a geometrical set. And you know what? She just broke down, started crying. And so a few of our volunteers just took her aside and listened to her. And she was like, man, this is all that I've been praying for. I'm just about to sit for my KCP, my final year exam, and I don't have a geometrical set. Apparently before that, she was just out of school like for 2 weeks for lack of 200 shillings, which in the name of development fees. She comes from a very tough family. And so the volunteers put something together. I think they added a few more things that she needed to sit for the
KCP.
And she did very well. She joined a national school in Makueni County. Wow. As we speak right now, she joined university this Friday.
Whoa.
Right. And so just to come back to your question of, we realized building relationships, meeting needs, like urgent needs. We cannot help everyone, but there's some things that we feel like this, it's just me and you, let's come together. Let's do that. It's been a blessing to do that. And so we've seen relationships being formed beyond the tech,
Yeah,
beyond
yeah.
computer.
Yeah.
We've seen kids who, because of what interaction with volunteers, perhaps not going to university to do computers, but just being this motivating to their peers and a change of they're working harder because they've realized the world is becoming smaller and they are more than able to overcome their current circumstances. Yeah.
Yeah, hey, that's an amazing testimonial. Maybe people don't usually think about it. It's like that thing of there's that one teacher who influenced you
Yes.
greatly when you were a kid,
Yes.
and maybe that teacher doesn't even know.
Yes.
But you're somewhere, you're successful somewhere, and you're just saying, "I'm grateful for that one thing." Maybe that teacher or that person told me when I was growing up.
Sure. I read a quote recently that you can influence from afar, but you can only impact when you're near. And impact here means perhaps I don't need to finish school at the top of my mathematics class, but maybe there's that one particular teacher who was maybe nice, or who you felt like yes, this is what I want to do. And so that is the kind of thing that we talk about when you talk about relationships, which are not just about distance, but about how deep you're able to influence these kids. It's about that seed you plant among these kids. And it goes way beyond you, and you can never know how far that can go.
It's just opening their minds,
Yes.
broadening their horizon.
Yes.
I've been hearing that a lot this week.
Yes.
And there's so many great lessons I'm hearing from this. And maybe what I might ask you is, what's the one thing you've learned over from those 4 years? You were out of school.
Yes.
You were in school, you started com camp, all the experiences you've had. What you've said some, people maybe you've picked them up throughout the podcast. But what's one thing you can say you have learned? You've been teaching, but what have you learned?
It's hard to get one. Maybe I can say a few.
Yeah, you can say it's fine.
I think the first one is, man, be faithful in where you are today. If it's your job to just like if you're in a play and your role is just to say one line, yani say that line so that somebody will come there and say that line was said. Right? If it's your work to clean somewhere, man, do the best that you can do. Success begets success, right? There's so much we can't tell about tomorrow, but today we can do something. All of us. So faithfulness from where you are. That is one. Two, the power of community. We've only have 24 hours, right? You're only one person. Yet when we come together, there's just so much more that we can do. And people are willing to help out. That is what I've come to realize. I've run a charity program for the last 4 years, and I can tell you for sure they are angels. Angels just don't live up in the skies, right? Or they just don't live in a forest.
Yeah.
There are people around us who are amazing. There are people willing to help out. But of course, you need to show a vision. You need to show ambition. You need to show consistency.
Yeah. Give them something to believe in.
Yeah. So the power of community. And when I talk about community is not just about what you want to gain, but what you are, what you're contributing. Right?
Yeah.
It's not just about what kind of friends I need to have. What kind of friend am I going to be? Yeah. It's not just about what kind of boys club you want to belong. It's what kind of a boy.
You want to be.
You are.
Oh, you are.
Yeah. So community. I've seen doors which I never thought I would be. Just open from that. Last but not the least is hard work surpasses talent.
Yeah. That's the second time I've heard that today.
Yeah. I mean, that's very true. The power of just pushing in the hours, there's sort of a revelation which comes with that when you do the same thing over and over again. If you do the best that you can do, hard work is a universal principle which brings down the mountains.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Opens stuff you never thought.
Yeah. There's a quote I had. It's luck is what remains when you give 100%.
Eish.
Yeah.
You guys are deep.
Also, you were talking about me earlier.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So those are some of the things that I've learned so far. But of course, a lot need to be learned. Just stepping out every single day with an open mind and making the most out of every opportunity that comes from you.
Yeah. You and maybe the last thing is someone who's listening who was in that position you are, like hizo miaka zote.
Yes.
Back then, what advice can
unasema mimi ni mzee? Mzee ni wewe.
Si mimi nimesema. Yeah, but maybe advice to someone who's recently in the news we've been seeing guys sijui jobless on the street, sijui I have degrees nini. What I don't know if this you can give them any advice, because I can see that 4-year period where you didn't have anything, you might have been demoralized or whatever was going through your mind during that period. What can you say to those people?
This story about unemployment, it's so hot in my mind right now. I can say like 1,000 things. Let me just say a few things. One thing I've seen a trend of, either guys in authority or guys in power throwing that shot of young people. You need to style up. You need to work harder. And for a minute I say like, hey, wait. People like us, we have more responsibility to create opportunities. Because I do believe these young people, especially in Kenya, young people are not poor because they are lazy. Young people are poor because they lack opportunity. And so the people at the top who have a bigger responsibility of creating opportunities. So the buck starts at the top, and that is where we need to begin that conversation, right? So to the policymakers, guys in authority, please, before you tell young people all these kind of things that you throw in them, ask yourself, how many opportunities have you been able to create for those young people? Yeah. So that is sort of like one. But also coming down to young people is, yes, the truth of the matter, just looking at numbers around, like 40% of our young people, they do not have a job if they are not underemployed. I was out of school for 4 years, and I thought that was the hardest thing. Last year, I was doing some youth program, and I met this guy, brilliant guy, who's been out of school for 8 years.
8 years.
He wants to do computer science. And I was like, hold that thought. Man, it's like things are getting harder by the day. So that's the truth of the matter. Opportunities are rare. So whatever you get, please just make the best that you can. You
don't sit down waiting for it. Doing something. Let it find you doing something.
Yes, let it find you a few steps ahead. Keep moving. Don't sit back and expect your uncle will bring you a job. Maybe that will happen 1 in 1,000 people. Yeah. But right now it's like vijana tujitume. Let's just go there, do the best that we can do, and doors would open. But as a community, holistically, we have a lot of work. All of us, from people who have a job, even you, where you're sitting right there, how can you teach whatever you know to somebody else? And that's something maybe they can lead to them either upskilling whatever they have, getting better opportunity, or giving them opportunity they do not have. Yeah. This is like a 360 circle. All of us, we have a part to play to create opportunities to people around us and beyond.
Yeah. I had a thought, and I don't know, I think it's disappeared. What was it? About opportunity, helping. Okay, I've forgotten it. But maybe in the end, coming to a close, if someone wants to help out in Kids Comp Camp, how can they contact you? What's the procedure right now?
If you want to get in contact with us, I think we are active on. We are socially conscious, so you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, and on Instagram
at Kids Comp Camp.
At Kids Comp Camp. If you search online #computer mashinani, computer with a K, you can also be able to check us out. And also follow us on online at kidscompcamp.com. You can shoot us an email at kids@kidscompcamp.com, and we'll be happy to connect with you.
So when's the next Wakamba Forever? Wakamba Forever 2?
Wakamba Forever was a submission for Matcha Fest, which is a film context for, I think, Kenya. It's coming up in a few weeks from
So it's
now.
actually happening?
Yeah, it's actually happening in a few weeks from now. So I'm just trying to look at my schedule, see if I'll be able to get another kick. That was too much fun. Thank you so much, Alex, for giving us that opportunity to do that. Yeah.
Yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, like you've heard, I think the biggest takeaway I've gotten from this is to always be faithful in what you're doing.
Yeah.
Be diligent in it, and it's amazing. I remembered what I wanted to say. The thing I wanted to say is opportunity meets preparedness.
Yes.
So when you have something,
Yes.
then people will help you build on it.
Yeah.
But when you don't have anything you're doing, you're just
People-
sitting down waiting.
People take away.
Yeah, they take away.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was our guest, Mr. Ndaka from Kids Comp Camp. I hope you learned a lot. I hope it motivated you wherever you are. And if, as always, if you have any questions, if you want to know more about Kids Comp Camp, you can always talk to us through our social media platforms. You can go to his at Kids Comp Camp, most of them Kids Comp Camp. Computer Mashinani with computer with a K, or you can come to our Facebook page, zd.com, or whichever app you're using to listen to your podcast. You can always write a comment and ask questions. And until next time, I've been your host, Kevin Kabingu, and that's it for this week.
This week's episode has come to an end, but the fun doesn't have to stop here. If you have any questions, suggestions, or feedback, head over right now to Twitter and Facebook and like and share, comment, get involved. Let us know what you think, what you want to learn next, and join us next time.